Hello, good people, and welcome to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. We are still poking around in distilleries unknown to me or new to me, and these guys, Raasay, are sort of new to a lot of us. Okay, established in 2017, R&B distillers, but you know, they're still, I would consider, one of the new kids on the block. Let's be honest about this. I mean, 2017, you know, they're a young distillery. It's that simple. So let's look at this bottle then. Raasay Distillery and Raasay Bottling, and to be honest with you, a bloody nice bottle in my opinion. This is, if anybody's sort of following this sort of thing, this is bottle R02.3.3. I think that's the way I have it. Bottle at 46.4%, non-chill filter, natural colour, and yeah, welcome to Whiskydom, Raasay. We waited on you. This has been about a while now. I know Raasay have had this bottle on the market for a while, but they are new to me, and I've already mentioned it. I like the bottle. I usually don't care about bottles. I usually don't mention bottles, but in this case, and it wasn't until I actually had the bottle in my hand, I'd seen pictures of it and stuff like that, and it didn't mean an awful lot to me, but it wasn't until I actually had the bottle in my hand, and it was especially whenever I was recording my background for it, I thought that is a thing of beauty. That just stands out as being different. So what is their whiskey like? That's what's important. This is rich, barbecued burnt ends. Although it's sharp as well, there's a sharpness about it. And I'm going to suggest yet again it is youthful whiskey. Of course it's youthful. And a lot of them, we know this already, that youthful peated whiskey tends to hold on to those phenolic notes more so than older. Usually. Lechic 18 flies in the face of that. Some others fly in the face of that, but I would suggest that usually more youthful peated whiskey will hold on to the more phenolic, really smoky notes than the older ones are, because the barrel tends to take over, and the spirit itself tends to lose out a little in that battle. Some of that's opinion, some of that's, I would suggest, based on fact. There's quite a bit of maturation going on in here. They're using, my eyesight doesn't really work very well anymore, rye casks. There's chinkapin in there, and what does my eyesight? Bordeaux. Yeah. That's shocking. It's not, and it's sort of shocking, and I'm sure there's people out there who'll be going, I need some sort of Whiskey Novice, and if anybody that follows Ralphie, some sort of steampunker. But the writing is quite small, and when it's quite pale writing against white, it makes it that bit more difficult. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Yes, so sharper notes, and I would suggest a distant whiff of nail polish. Acetone notes, you know, so they're distant whiffs of that in the background. Sweet and savoury, both playing in harmony, yes. And there's enough fruity youthfulness about it, balancing things out, you know, and so it's all on the nose. It's all a very well balanced thing. I would suggest that the smokiness does tend to be more like barbecued burnt ends. An opinion once again. But I would also suggest that there's very much a hint of salinity in there as well. There's a saltiness to it. Nice. Gentle, soft, sweet, sour. Hint of umami. Fruity. The smokiness tends to peter off quite quickly, but it's still, I would suggest, more about a savoury smokiness. Barbecue sauce. Orange. So there's fruitiness there. Those fruity spices that tend to come up in barbecue sauce. Yeah. Very creamy. I'm sort of laughing to myself because it reminds me of dipping a bacon crisp chip into vanilla ice cream. How would I know that? Well, because we used to do such things in our youth. Don't ask why. I mean, it's a bit of a delicacy around these parts. Not necessarily bacon crisps, but certainly other crisps, chips. But it's that sort of weirdness about it, that a bacon crisp chip and vanilla ice cream at the same time. Might sound undesirable, but it's really nice, actually. Really, really nice. So fresh, so clean. And that meatiness. The palate, the finish dries off quite a bit, but it's not a bad palate. There's a zingy zestiness about it, and that's where a lot of the fruit is still there. The smokiness is the bit that tends to dry out an awful lot on it, and it does go very dry. However, dry finishes to me a lot of times will put me off, as in I don't find them terribly desirable. Every time you go back into this for another nose, another sip, you'll find something else, and it's still quite desirable. That maturation, every piece of that maturation has played its part, and in my opinion, they've done well here. And they've done well, but there's also room for improvement. So that's what I want from it, especially a new distillery, because I look at a lot of them and go, well, if you're going to nail it in the first go, I'll just stay. I'll stick with this. Thanks. Fine, okay, you'll keep buying the same thing. But then I look at it and go, well, what would happen if you finish this off in sherry cask? What would happen if you finish this off in a port cask? What would happen if and they've got the opportunity to do this, and they have been doing this. So it's good for me, because then I will reach out and say, well, I'll try another one. This was about £60 a bottle. Will I replace it? Probably not, because I've said it before. What I'll do is I'll feel around in Raasay now. This will stick around in the bottle for long enough while I try the next one and try them side by side. So there's enough opportunity, and that's good. That's good for Raasay. It's good for me. Add some water to this. And I know that it becomes less about the barbecue burnt ends. It becomes more about a dry smokiness, dry wood smokiness. And even then, it's weird, because it sort of balances between dry wood smokiness and burnt out damp smokiness. So the smokiness actually does not only just remain, but it actually probably improves from a drop of water. The dryness sounds a bit silly, adding water, taking the dryness out of it, but it does become a more palatable whiskey with a better finish with a drop of water. Just a drop, very, very little. Don't be overdoing the water in this. But all in all, in my opinion, a good start from Raasay. So what would I suggest as an alternative? Well, it was sort of difficult. It really was. I'm going to fire out a couple for you. And it's probably, the thing is that it's more a case of, if you haven't been able to get your hands on Raasay, or I don't know what angle I'm really taking at it, but I'm going to suggest a couple to you. And the first one I'm going to suggest is the Bunnahabhain Moyne. This is a sort of what way could I describe it? It's a richer, creamier nose. It was on the nose that I found myself wondering almost immediately, what would I suggest as an alternative? I started to feel around in my cabinets, and the Moyne was one of the ones that on the nose, certainly, I would have suggested are relatively similar And that, you know, if you tried one and you haven't tried the other, give it a go. So if you've had Raasay but you've never had the Bunnahabhain, give it a go. If you've had the Bunnahabhain but never had Raasay, follow it on with the Raasay. That would be simple for me. The other choice I'm going to give you, I'll take the Moynia away there and suggest, and it seems a bit silly, but Ardbeg Wee Beastie, very, very affordable whiskey. And they, weirdly, on the nose, they both, yet again, have that similarity. And the fact that the Wee Beastie, the 5-year-old, comes with that little bit extra ABV, it ramps up what's going on in the nose. It gives that smokiness, that little more edge. So to me, Raasay actually does have more of it, I would suggest, an Ardbeg feel about it. Certainly than if you were looking to the classics that it does of Lagavulin or Lefroy or Bowmore or anything like that. I'm sure Raasay don't care that I'm saying this. They don't want to be compared to anybody else, I would imagine, but it's what I do. It's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to offer you an alternative, and as I said, for me, it would certainly be more down that Ardbeggy feel of things. So that's all I'm doing with that. I don't want to poke the bear with these boys because I do like Raasay. So there you go. I would suggest that was a positive start for Raasay for me. And I'm going to say thank you very much to you for joining me. Thank you very, very much to my patrons. Should anybody wish to join that group and help the channel out a little with some more support, the details are in the video description below. I'll be back the next time. I hope you can join me. Until then, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.